Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So, y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, some best boxer in the world news. We do that from time to time, maybe every second, third day lately. You know what I mean? Because we going up into the fight with Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. So we're going to talk about it from time to time. There's things that are pertinent information going up to the fight. Hey, I still haven't heard if Canelo Alvarez has been tested. Would like to know that. It's very important going up to the fight. We want to make sure everybody's tested. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that's happening. But let's talk about Terence Crawford. It's just something that hit me. You know something? I know New Russia better be happy. Better be happy. This man ain't 5 years younger. If Terence Crawford was 5 years younger, I'm just gonna spit it out like I think it. I think it would become the GOAT. I think it would become the GOAT if he was 5 years younger. See, a lot of things didn't happen with Terence Crawford because you have people in the way. You know what I'm saying? You have people in the way. Now, in order for him to become the GOAT, there would have to be things, the framework conditions, things would have to happen. They would have to align themselves. Turkey Al-Shi would have had to be here 5 years ago. Someone who's, just into boxing, wanted to see big fights, wanted to see things that happen, make these fights happen. Maybe 5 years ago was probably a little bit late for the Pacquiao fight to happen, but it would have been nice if he would have got the Pacquiao fight 8, 9 years ago because Pacquiao would have been on his ledger, and we know it. Everyone knew it. That's why they were afraid for Pacquiao to fight him. So you're just thinking, Pacquiao is basically on his ledger for people like me who understand you just ain't gonna have him because everybody else don't have this. Make sure this is clear when we're talking about Bud Crawford. He has everybody in boxing that was scared for Pacquiao to fight him. A young enough Pacquiao in his prime Pacquiao was scared to fight Terence Bud Crawford when Pacquiao was at 147 pounds and Bud Crawford was at 140. Everyone, Terence was scared to have him fight Terence Crawford. The pundits, the coach from Manny Pacquiao, and the promoter, and it's documented. That's in your ledger. So he would have Pacquiao on his ledger if they would have fought, or if Pacquiao and the whole boxing community is scared for Pacquiao to fight Terence Crawford. Let's make sure this is clear. Who else was Manny Pacquiao scared to fight? And then you understand. Maybe the only one is Floyd Mayweather without drugs in 2009. Everybody else has no. Pacquiao would have fought anybody. The Errol Spencers of the world. He said all the time, I'll beat Errol Spence, he's too slow. For example, just to give you an example of one, right? There's only, and I mean only, Terence Crawford. So he would have that on his ledger. So let's say Turkey Al-Shi was around, and let's just speculate. He become undisputed in 140 and 147. Let's just make this speculate. He went for the hardest guy at 154. Who was that at the time? Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo versus Terence Crawford. Who you got? Now, before you answer that, let's make sure this is clear. Jermell Charlo was a bad man. Everybody ain't beating Jermell Charlo. Okay, not at 154 pounds. Because, first of all, they didn't do it. He was undisputed there. Okay? So they didn't do it. Let's not stop talking about anybody beat. No, nothing. I'm undisputed. I beat everybody he faced. Okay? Make sure that's clear. Everybody he faced, that Tony Harrison stuff, what happened when they met again? Yeah, okay. So, and you would have Bud beating him. Me too. Not by a long shot, but 60-40 for sure. Maybe 65-35. Right? So, that's at 154 pounds. At 160, it gets tricky. At 160, it gets tricky. Right? So he would be 3 division undisputed, but at going up to 160, those are some big boys. And the baddest one up there got to be Alam Kuli. Sorry, Yanabik. Just let's say Yanabik. That's a bad southpaw. That's a bad southpaw. That's a bad southpaw. And that's a hard fight. I would have Alam Kali or Yanabik. I would go 55, 45 for Yanabik. And I'm rolling with Crawford. Y'all know that. But Yanabik is bigger and a bad dude. So I'm going with Yanabik there. But Crawford could win that fight. And if he did, he would be a 4 division undisputed guy. Now we go up 1 division higher, and you got Canelo, who he's gonna fight. I got him beating Canelo. Not not Yanabik, but I got him beating Canelo. That's 5 divisions, y'all. Now, as 5 divisions, and that would have happened. They would have made let him do at least go for it. Turkey Alex Shee would have made him go for it, and people, things have to line up, and people would want to have to see these things, and things would have to happen. They would have to help him get these fights, pay the people to fight him and stuff like that, right? And we've enabled others. We run around calling Manny Pacquiao, for example, 8 division champion. People enable him to do those things. He's an 8 division champion, and he's not. Because he's got one of them IBO or IBA title. IBO and IBA don't count, but they counting them right in front of your face all the time. And if you're gonna go up divisions, there's catch weights. He's got a couple of titles where he was a catch weight, not the full weight, and we're counting those. I don't think when you go up to, you're saying, hey, you got these divisions and all these divisions. I don't think, but they letting Pacquiao get away with that, right? And they let Lomachenko be the quickest guy to get a title because he got a title shot in his first fight and then lost in his second fight, I think it was. He got a title shot in his second fight, I think. Second pro fight. Lost, and then got a title shot in his third fight or something like that. So, of course you're going to be the quickest if you keep getting opportunities. If you lose, then you're supposed to wait another 5, 6 fights to get another title fight, but it didn't happen. And they say he's the quickest one to get a title. When they help you get along, then it can happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's other things, but I just don't want to go in on everybody. But there's just things, you can, if Terence Crawford wants to become undisputed in all these divisions, and give him a shot at it, right? So he's going after Canelo. Not saying he could beat a David Morrell. Not saying he can beat a David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? At 168. Not saying he beat a Demetrius Andrade at 168. But he can beat Canelo. That's what we're saying. Canelo. Right? Because Canelo's not as good as Demetrius Andrade or David Morrell or Benavidez. That's what I'm saying here. Straight up in your face. That's what's going on. Canelo's not as good as them. Because if he would have beat Demetrius Andrade a long damn time ago. Had an opportunity at 154, 160, and 168. And he ain't doing it. So, yeah, it's a reason why. Now, 160, Yanabik is the issue. Everybody at 160 ain't an issue, but Yanabik is. Right? 154, like I said, he beat Jamel. I think he beats Jamel. I think he beats Fundura. I think he beats Tim Chu. And I think he beats Victor Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz, or anybody else. 154, I think your boy Terence can handle those guys. But it gets harder because these guys are bigger than him. Let's make sure that's clear. So it's not like it's easy. Then, if he got past Canelo, I'm just hearing, and this is what made me think about this. Dmitry Bivol is supposed to fight Beterbiev. Now, some kind of way the negotiations are not happening, right? Because some kind of way the Beterbiev's trainer or manager or one of them in his team, someone has said that the negotiations, Bivol hasn't showed up because Bivol wants to fight the Terence Crawford versus Canelo winner. Now, 175 is a stretch. I don't think, Terence Crawford beat nobody up there. Not Bivol, not Beterbiev, and not Benavidez up there. Those guys are a little bit too big. But if you were 5 division undisputed, you're going to try until it's okay. Stop at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? You lose the Bivol and say, well, I'm still 5 division undisputed, and I see you guys later. All of this is speculation, guys. All of this would have happened. This is not happening at 38 years old or whatever. But I'm saying the talent level is there. And if Turkey She was around and wanted to see this, and it wasn't a new Russia thing trying to suppress all the wonderful things this guy has done in his boxing career and talk bad about him, then these things would have been a possibility. And with his talent level, it's not outlandish to speak these things out loud. So yeah, he would have been probably a 4 to 5 division undisputed guy if he was 5 years ago and Turkey was around. That's how good Terence Bud Crawford is. So again, recognize. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. Yeah, speculation's pretty cool, huh? And I'm about to hear y'all.